No, he's not right, Wrappy. He is not right. Welcome to another week of the Rush Hour, and a big week, of course, always starts with Damien Barrett because massive first round. How good, by the way, Footy's back.
Footy is back.
Good. And then topics brainless, I never understand. Like just when we're trying to get the week flying off to a good start.
Yep.
I had an issue today. I'm going to talk about that a little later on. And then Julia Morris and Chris Brown one-on-one with Fat.
Exactly.
How's this suddenly happening?
Well, you had an issue and you couldn't make it in,
that's
remember?
True. I'll talk about that later. So a big show, and then a real bad joke finishes us off.
Exactly.
But nice to see you on a Monday, Willis.
Oh, g'day, Jimmy boy, and you're spot on. How good is Footy, my friend? Footy is back.
Brilliant.
4 new coaches.
Yep.
4 wins.
4 wins.
How easy.
Love it.
Well done to those boys. And Rabsy, my favourite moment. I'll do it in the wrap, actually. How you going?
You can see Darcy Moore here as well. I don't know whether we can have a chat with Darcy or not. Wow.
Just waiting for 3AW to get their shit together. So
As soon as they're ready, we're ready to give them to you.
How did roaming go, all right?
Roma.
Doesn't he love it down there?
In the Collingwood rooms. Dakes, sure, the legend, Peter
He
Dakes,
dropped the...
looked like he'd been enjoying him.
Exactly.
Did
He was up
BT
and-
interview one of his sons? Was one of the kids one of his sons there?
As BT? So?
Yeah,
No,
was it
I
Harrison?
don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Well,
But
he-
certainly Dakes was there.
Yeah, he dropped
And
the magic.
Maxie Maynard was there. He looked like he'd had a couple.
Good on him.
The old man of the Bros.
Watching
And then
there, boys.
Cement.
Cement Head was there.
Yeah,
I
he was
interviewed him. Had the new black suit on, of
what's
course,
he on
the
about?
tie, but the glasses. He's wearing glasses because he thinks now he's got to be all official.
Taking himself way too
Come
seriously.
on, Ned, fair dinkum.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway, time for a nice little whap, whap, whap.
Now on Triple M's Rush Hour,
We've also got this, a nice little whappy.
it's Billy's All Sports Report.
The Melbourne Footy Club, Jim, has accepted a 2-match ban
Yep.
for Cozzy Pickett.
and so they should.
Yes, exactly.
You can't leave the ground, hit people in the head, Fat. It's got to be wiped out.
Spot on. The worst time you could ever try and do one of those bumps would
Yep.
be round 1
Yep.
of this year.
Well, especially with all the concussion
exactly.
stuff floating
Hence,
around.
that's what I'm getting at.
That's
what I'm
what
leading.
you're getting
Yeah,
at,
I'm
yeah.
leading.
You heard Tom Brown say that earlier
He
today.
actually said it out the front there. And it was on a podcast and won't be out yet, will it?
Yeah, it's out and listener.
Out people listening to it now.
So well, you heard it from me too. Buddy's out.
Yes.
Sydney have said, yes, we'll accept that 1-match ban too. Again, hit in the head. So he misses the game against Hawthorn. I wonder if they play him again. That might be the last time he could have played against the Hawks, Buddy.
Are you writing him off?
Yes. Tom Stewart has sustained a grade 2 MCL strain, Jim, so it might be only 3 or 4 weeks, which is good.
Yep.
And Sam DeConing, I don't know how we must speak to him and see
Fell
how
backwards.
he fell over.
Backwards.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but
No.
it wasn't the turf that had been relayed either. It was the normal turf.
That just looked weird.
Exactly right. Footy, I know we're going to talk to Damo, but this was my favourite part of round 1.
Centre field, 1-2 with Merritt.
Tipper.
This time he goes to Tipper.
Tipper!
He takes a big breath. He's going to let it fly from 50 metres out. Here he goes.
He's got it.
Tipper!
Footy is better when Tipper's kicking snags.
Well said, Joey. Summed it up beautifully there. That was great.
Oh, I love him.
Great to see Tipper back.
Is that they're going to rip that song back out again? Anthony McDonald at the footy.
Footy. Yep.
He's a star. He is exactly why we love going to the footy.
That's right. He retired. He's back. He missed it all.
He's got great trick bag, but also such a likeable sort of person. No,
Well
I
done.
love it.
Cricket, Jim, the 3 one-dayers over there in India. Game 1, Aussies were going really well and then were bowled out for 188 in 35 overs.
Yes.
15 overs I left, Jim.
That's it, Bill.
So then India won that one. Mitch Marsh, 81 off 65, 10 fours, 5 sixes.
Yes.
He does it for fun.
Yeah, especially in that part of the world.
So
White
bang.
ball cricket, he dominates.
They're 1-0 down there.
Yes.
Then last night,
Yes.
India all out for 117, 117,
Yep.
26 overs. They left 24 overs in the bag.
Bill, we know that there are 50 over games.
Yeah. So Australia reached naught. What do you say that? None? None.
Made the runs no wicket down. And Travis Head
Yes.
also playing nicely.
51 not.
I like it.
And our man, 66 Marshy,
Big Bison.
6 sixes and 6 fours.
No, well
done.
played.
So
Well
1-1. Now
Great
they head
catch
to.
from Steve Smith too. Did you see that?
Oh, yes.
Oh, awesome.
So fielding a first slip, caught it at third.
Yeah, nearly third. Yep.
Exactly. You don't need any slips. Just
What's happening?
well, Smithy just goes wherever I want.
Yeah, no, I like it, Bill.
Yeah. 1-1. Go to Chennai now.
Right.
NRL.
Rugby league.
Thank you, Rabs. Melbourne Storm lost again, Jim, to the Gold Coast Titans.
What's going on with us?
They're 1 and 2.
He's dropped it.
No, and all I could think of was bellyache. Apparently, he gave him a good old
Won't be happy.
pounding at half time.
Won't be happy.
They've got to get Cam
Plastic
Munster.
seats.
Oh,
They sit around the circle of plastic seats.
yeah, they
do.
It's not right,
Weird.
is it? No, it's weird.
No, and he sits in the middle and eyeballs them.
But then they all get the song going
They
and
do.
they all slap
Yeah,
each other.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, we love him. Cam Munster, must get him back out there. They
Must
need to
get him back out.
It's a must, Jim, that we get Cam Munster back out there because they are just going at the minute.
Yeah.
Netball, Collingwood, great win. They had a nice win over the New South Wales Swifts. Well done.
Yes.
Collingwood had a good weekend.
Very good weekend, Bill, if you want to talk about it.
No.
Okay.
And then the Melbourne Vixens just missed out against West Coast Fever. That was the grand final rematch, Jim.
Right.
Lost by a goal.
Yes.
Wow, our girl Jo Wester didn't play. She had a sore calf.
Right. And that's why we lost.
Exactly.
She's a star.
Formula One, Oscar Piastri.
Yes.
A very nice drive, Jimmy boy.
Incredible drive.
He outgunned his senior McLaren teammate, Lando Norris, at the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix.
Sardi.
He ended up finishing 15th.
He did, and completed the whole race on one set of tyres.
No,
Apparently.
you can't do that, Jim.
Bill, he's a star. I'm telling you, when he gets in a bloody car that can support him, he will be the juice, this young fella.
No, they're coming around to you, Jimmy boy. And, of course, the next Formula One is the Australian Grand Prix.
Yes.
Go on, Roberts.
Speaking of which,
Oh, no, we're not.
What do you
not
got?
again.
you might remember this from last year.
I like it. Not bad, Fat. Oh, no. Jeez, it's a slow. He's got a crown. He's crowned.
Where Bill would make car noises, and if you
Yes.
heard them, you'd ring 1-333-5-3 to go on a standby list for a double pass to the Australian Grand Prix. Well, guess what? They liked it that much.
No.
We're doing,
We're doing
it again. Yep.
Bill's car noises.
Yep.
Bill's car noises, Jim. It's sold out.
Not a particularly sophisticated show.
This
at
includes
times.
a race day pit walk experience.
Rabbits, I know how good the prize is.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the mechanic
No.
not being great.
So
Mechanics.
if you hear Bill do this,
Oh, that's
That's a little one.
quick one.
The last one took a long time to get there.
throughout the show, not now, so don't ring
don't be
Brody
ringing-
and
No,
Jim
look
and-
at him ring.
Maddie from Lang Warren. We're
Come
not
on.
talking to you, Maddie.
And Jem.
When you hear Bill make that noise, you give us a call 1-333-5-3 and you can head along to the sold out
Yes.
Australian Grand Prix.
Damo, before we get to footy,
Yep.
Fat wasn't present at the Saturday rub
He's really present. He might be in person, but he's not
flew
really
to
emotionally.
Sydney
But yep.
to
wasn't
see
he?
a 5 o'clock horse race. He flew at 9 a.m.
That's right.
And then when the
Light
horse...
of the Herald Sun about actually doing the
Yeah,
rub
that's it.
before
Yep,
flying.
that's
but
it. And then the horse started and didn't finish. I
Finished.
think it's still going.
10th.
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 10th in the race.
Well, as you said, it's got too good a name to be
crap
of
horse.
a bad horse.
It
yeah,
is a
so
bad horse.
Steel City.
So,
Anyway,
nice
she's
to have him back in the room.
out for a spell.
You are.
No, I know I should, Jim, but she's out for a spell.
Now, footy, we can't help but get wrapped up in the emotion of it. Purple, it's great
Yeah.
to have it back, and many, not all, but many of the games were great.
Yeah, they were, weren't they? And look, what we do on this Monday as we try to dissect the round just played, we look at the positives and negatives. And I've weighted these first teams, Jim, in this category just on what the match meant for those teams. So a lot of teams obviously had some good wins, but I reckon Melbourne was the really impressive aspect of the weekend. And they had a good opponent in the Western Bulldogs, and we debated ad nauseum, hadn't we, the Brodie Grundy and Max Gorm dynamic, and then we got to see it. And on first showing, it absolutely works. And you know it's going to be transportable, but it's sportable. It's not just a horses for courses situation, because Grundy was able to cover for Gorn Bill. Gorn still rucked a lot, but was taking marks in the forward line and back line, and Grundy just got better as a match.
Max is better in the circle. There's no doubt about that. In the ruck duels, a lot better ruckman, tap ruckman. But Grundy was good.
Yeah, he's
He kicked
great.
a couple of goals.
Yeah.
They got depth.
Yeah, they do now. Yeah. And Pickett, I think, I know you spoke about him earlier, Bill, and the 2 weeks that he got, and I think that was the right call for what it's worth. And I'm glad they're MRO, and I'm putting them in the positives too, because what they did was, I think, different to what they would have done even 2 years ago. They might have even tried to get that one off or given him only a fine, but they've given him 2 weeks, so I like that. But that was his best game, I thought, Pickett.
Yes.
And he's an extraordinary talent. I mean, what he did in 2021 in that premiership year,
He
slightly
played
off
more,
last year.
Played
but-
more in the midfield.
Yeah,
Right.
and he's
I didn't
strong,
see
isn't
the
he, Bill?
game.
Yeah, no, he's really strong. I mean, there's some people thinking he could be the Melbourne's version of Shea Bolton. I don't see him flying as high as that, but he may be more creative and may be able to go longer in the midfield based upon what we saw of a one-game offering.
I agree it was a good win, given who they couldn't pick. They had 4 frontliners out.
Yeah.
So, I really like the Demons. I think they're in great shape. But the other mob were disappointing. Again, just within 10 minutes, coughing up a lead and allowing, 5 in a row to be kicked on really quickly.
We'll get to them later, Jim, but as in the Bulldogs, and I agree with you, they're prominent on the negatives list. Petrarca and Oliver, you just, if they're not injured, they're just going to be amongst the best.
So the
on the ground.
coaches' votes, Lever, 9.
Yeah, very good.
It's extraordinary, Lever.
Cozzy, 9. Petrarca, 5. Max Gorn, 5. And Oliver, 2.
Yeah. And as you say, Jim, 4 players out. Maybe one
huge.
more with a
Yeah,
soft
he's
tissue calf.
massively
I mean,
important
I'd probably, you'd make sure he's right, wouldn't you? So he's out.
Tough run they've got. They've got Brisbane in Brisbane, then Sydney.
Yeah.
So, these are important games for Melbourne early.
And Viney, Fritsch and Salem are the other ones out. He'll be a little bit longer, those two. Yeah, than those other two. Collingwood I'm putting in as another big winner. The way they dismantled Geelong, didn't they, after getting away from them?
After 3/4 time.
Yeah.
I reckon 2 or 3 times the Cats are up to 22 points. But if you're at the ground, you could just sense that Collingwood were always in the game and they were always coming. They had a lot more foot speed. They ran a lot more. They were actually very, very good. And the Dacos brother, wow.
Yeah. And just the additions that we touched on there with Melbourne, with bringing Grundy in. Collingwood also benefited from what they did with Bobby Hill and Tom Mitchell and the way he played. And we'll get to the next team too in Port Adelaide, bringing in Jason Horne-Francis and Junior Rioli. Now, I don't know if you've got the boat still handy there, Bill. But
Horne-Francis, 9.
Yep.
Ryan Burton, good to see him playing well, 7. Charlie Dixon, 6. Alia, 5. And Connor Rose, 5. But they had a new midfield, didn't they, with Rose, Horne-Francis,
Rose.
and the other bloke. Good midfield.
Butters?
Butters, yes. So that's a new midfield for Kenneth.
Yeah, it is. And look, so part of that was forced upon him, wasn't it, with Boak not being available, but that can often be the best outcome for those situations. And I just keep feeling that Travis Boak's influence over Jason Horne-Francis as the year unfolds is going to be quite profound. And it was a really good performance from him first up. And again, equally important from the goalking perspective of Junior Rioli. They needed another dynamic, didn't they? And they didn't have it last year. Fantasia played in this game as well, didn't have the impact, but the fact he's got through is pretty important. Down the rung a bit, I mean, they're the 3 I really liked out of the weekend for the weighting of the games. We just want to see how Sydney responded to that grand final loss. It doesn't mean that they've overcome it, but the job they did on Gold Coast was pretty significant, given Gold Coast keeps telling us they're on the right track, and I'm yet to see it. But it was good head start for them just to get
Sydney
away.
are great, I reckon. I watched a lot of their pre-season. I reckon they are as sharp and fit and hungry as any team in the comp. I reckon they're going really well.
Because the Gold Coast had the wood on them the last 4 times, I reckon, and especially up there.
Yeah, in the
it's hard to
steamy,
win. Exactly.
greasy conditions.
And they come out early and just went bang. Blew them away.
And then you got, I know you said before, Bill, the 4 new coaches all got away to wins, but it is good for the supporters of those groups, isn't it? And I think equally importantly, the players of those groups. When you've got someone like a Ross Lyon coming into, as he said, a traumatised setup, and that happened. It's trauma in a footy sense with a coach leaving and changes being made. But the messaging, Bill, as you know, it's only words until you get a chance to display it. And then when you have a hard grinding game as they did against the Dockers, and then it comes through with them kicking the last 5 goals of the game. You just know that is going to be resonating with the players. This system works if we do what we're told to do. So it was a very gritty, typical Ross Lyon performance, wasn't it?
We'll get to the other mob because they were horrible, but you can only win, and they did. I think the other 2, Brad Scott, emphatic.
Adam Kingsley.
And Al Clarkson, emphatic.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, so, I mean, you know Brad Scott as well as anyone, Jim, from a footy sense. I mean, what he was able to do, again, in the off-season, was able to be delivered first up. Now, it's against Hawthorn, so let's not... And it's okay to talk down the opponent you just beat in a reflective and analytical sense, but it was a very impressive first-up performance.
How much is a good coach worth?
No.
Because it just shows you. You get a good coach at your team, they change things around, don't they, straight away?
Oh,
and Clarko's done that. Brad Scott's done that. Roscoe's done that.
I totally agree. They're all very good at their craft, and it is a craft. Harry Sheasel, by the way.
Yeah.
What about that? Not since Diesel in '84 has anyone had that many possessions on debut.
It's
the great Greg Williams.
And did it with authority. I mean, you called the game. The authority with which he played was just extraordinary, wasn't it? Off a position that he hadn't played in his junior footy because he was too good to be used as a backman in junior footy. So. But he steps up there, and it's arguably the most important position for a team trying to re-establish itself.
Signing
like
boxes of Cheezels.
Was he?
Oh, yeah. I
So
love
the
it.
Cheezels
They
come
all
out.
bring the box of Cheezels down and he signs it.
Good.
Finishing on that game, because I know we've got the negative next. Luke Davies-Uniacke, I keep telling you.
You have been saying for a while.
He's going to be in the top 5 players in the comp.
I took a while to embrace what you were saying about him, I reckon, 3 or 4 years ago, Jim. I'm with you now.
Well, he wasn't there then.
No, but you
he
were
is
pumping him
now.
up then.
He got 10 coaches' votes.
Oh, yeah.
Only 2 others. DeGoey. Oh, Geordie. And Chad Warner.
My man.
Another very good player.
Toby Green deserves a quick referencing to 4 goals 4 in that
Love
really
him.
good comeback by the Giants against the Crows.
He's a star.
Yeah.
A legitimate star. All right,
We've
the
got a
other
new
side of
thing.
the ledger next.
We've got a new thing coming up.
You do. More with Damien Barrett next on the Rush Hour. Has stuck around for his negatives from round 1.
Where are we starting, Purple?
Oh, I know where we start.
Let's start in the bigger
new
picture
thing.
negative. Jeremy Howe's accident against Tyson Stengelby with the broken arm.
How many breaks?
It's, again, I like referring to the official club release. They didn't refer to the amount of breaks, but it was multiple.
4, someone told me.
Yeah, there were a few. There was a few. Yeah.
That's terrible.
And what that means and how it looks. But it was just a damper, wasn't it, on what Collingwood did and the round unfolding.
And look, I saw an article somewhere saying, should he have had a duty of care, with a bloke coming back with a flight? You can't stop people instinctively jumping at a footy.
Not in that moment.
Otherwise,
No.
we are
No,
turning the game into something unrecognisable. So very sad that he's as injured as he is, especially we love him. He's great for us on this
Right.
show. But that's how he's played his whole career. He
It
just
is.
sees the ball and jumps at
That's
it.
why he's
Some
still
of
in the
the
system playing as well as he is. Yeah.
Some
and
of the things we can stop, the
correct.
bumps.
I was going to say, Bill.
that's different.
The bumps are different, but that when you're going for it,
Yeah.
and that's what he's going.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can't. I don't see how you can
No.
remove that. Don't know where to start beyond that because West Coast has now lost 25 of 27. If you go back to round 19 of 2021, at that stage they were 11 wins. With 4 matches remaining, you'd think they were going to maybe just get 1 or 2 to secure a finals berth. Lost all 4.
So what have they done? Say it again. They've
So
lost.
since round 19, 2021, lost the last 4 of that year.
Yeah.
And then lost 22 of last year and the first one of this year. So they've lost 25 of 27 at an average losing margin, Bill, of 44 points. I mean, that is
Unbelievable.
an horrific stats line, isn't it? And
Especially when you read the team. Like, I obviously prepped to do the game on Saturday. You read down their team list, you think, bloody hell. There's lots of real good players.
That's why I picked them to
jumping out
beat
of them.
North.
yeah, and that's the issue. There was Nick Natanui and Elliot Yeo of their regulars out. And the attitude that they had last year, we all thought and we were told it was going to be back to, mid-2021 levels, even earlier than that. Just didn't happen. Now, again, I'm massive, Jimmy. You've heard me round 1 every year for the past X amount of years. I always give them round 6 or round 8. So let's see the response. But it was not a good start.
Have a listener fat.
Sorry, Damo. Keep going.
So they're meant to ring in now. Is that how it works? Or what?
33353. And don't spare the other mob from the West.
No.
I thought that was close to the most disappointing performance. I didn't see Hawthorn, but I don't have great expectation with how young they are that they're going to be.
Yeah.
But Freo are there and
popular,
thereabouts,
don't you?
and they were horrible.
They were. No effort. And that's what the other mob came with.
Yeah.
They just came with effort. St Kilda. And the other mob were flat. Freo were flat.
I was bullish on them coming out of 2022 and the way they managed to win 16 matches. That's inclusive of a finals win. But that's a lot of matches in any given season for a team on the way up. And then you see what they dished up in round 1. Again, let's see what happens
they'll
round 2.
respond this. They got North at home this week, so that
Yeah.
they will see as a very winnable game, obviously. But they just, for me, nowhere near enough dare ball in hand. This
That's a big
sideways
point.
business, I couldn't understand what the hell they were doing. Luke Jackson will be better for the run, but, if you're going to put your hand out for big money, when big moments come in games, you got to stand up.
No choice but to.
3 or 4 he missed that he had to kick. Nate Fyfe not making the distance from 40 out.
And that's the issue. Is he's not. I'd rather football experts like yourself, Bill, talk about this rather than I would. But he's not going to work as a forward, is he?
No.
He's just not.
Well, you've got to put him in the midfield. He's got to play
And that's
there
an
at
issue,
some
yeah.
stage.
Yeah. So and they've got no forward
He's
line
fit
to speak
enough,
of.
isn't he?
Well, he's declared himself, Bill, and he
Pre-season.
got through, by his standards, most of the pre-season.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
He does so much in a game of footy so incredibly well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
kicking for goal
Yeah.
has always been
been-
kryptonite.
always
to that bloke,
been a
hasn't it?
problem.
For whatever reason.
Exactly.
Hawthorn has just deliberately stripped itself so bare that I was always worried about what was going to happen this year. And they can talk buoyantly about their kids, and they look okay. And Cameron McKenzie was a good example of that. But holding it together over the course of now a 23-match season, given they lost a game of footy against a team that they would have given themselves a good chance, an equally troubled off-season by Essendon, not a good sign. And yeah, the trading out of Gunston, Mitchell, O'Meara,
Yep.
I get the argument. It wasn't going to take them to the end game in the future. But what it also does, expose them, and Shields is another one who ended up bobbing up at North and played well on the weekend under his old coach, Alistair Clarkson. But it does expose what's left to some sort of footy that I don't think they're ready for. And I hope Sam Mitchell knows what he's doing in terms of trying to just get through 2023. He's one of the more confident people you'd ever come across,
Yes.
and I'm not doubting his ability to coach, but I do doubt his ability to cut this list back the way he's done it for this particular year.
But they've got to bring an effort.
Well, they did for a half.
Did they?
Well, they did for a bit. Yeah, they're okay early. Yeah, they're okay early. Yeah,
They've got
but
Sydney and Geelong and
Yeah.
North in the middle, but Sydney and Geelong in their first month. So
Yep.
it's not going to get any easier.
it's not. Jim, you want to talk about the Bulldogs, and yeah, I'm with you. That Liam Jones appears to have escaped serious damage to that neck, which had him subbed out against Melbourne, so that's a positive. But Dunkley not being there obviously is a massive hole in that midfield, and I hope Luke Beveridge doesn't abandon the tall forward line after one hit out, but it didn't work, did it?
No.
It must be said, and it didn't work against the team that was already out with one of the great fullbacks in the competition in Stephen May. So massive question marks.
It's the ease with which Melbourne now twice, obviously in the famous grand final in this game, just rattle goals on them. That would be the worry for Luke Beveridge.
Yeah, and if you look at the teams that are going to be expected to surge this year, the team that ultimately won the grand final last year, the team that won in 2021, it's all about speed, isn't it? At various parts of the ground and in key moments where you just flick a switch and you go for it. I don't know whether the Bulldogs have got that speed element to what they're about.
Well, I'm not as I think they can hurt you. It's more if the momentum's with the opposition side. They're
can't
not
stop
good
it.
enough at
Yeah.
arresting it. I mean, they
it's-
weren't Saturday night.
No, they weren't again.
Celebrity get me out of here, Julia Morris and Dr. Chris Brown.
Great to have you aboard. Welcome, Dr. Chris Brown.
Thank you very much, Billy.
Welcome, Julia. And you're on? Triple M. Yes. Well done. Now, this is pre-recorded. We must say this off the top and be up front. So Jim's not involved.
Oh.
But you didn't want to get interviewed by Jim anyway, did you?
Well, here's the thing. We do love talking about the jungle, and it's always extra special when we're talking about the jungle with someone who's actually had the experience.
Because it doubles as therapy, I find.
Yes.
It's enabling you to transition from that world and be able to look us in the eye and not see in the place of our faces maybe an impala anus or
Yes.
or a bush pig testicle,
Yeah,
something that we've
exactly.
made you eat. Sometimes that is the first thing you see when you see us.
Well,
That is
exactly
nice.
right.
So
and
we-
you just waltz in there every morning,
I
don't
know.
you? That's funny. And then when they come in, it's like Santa Claus coming for those watching, that you two walk in and you've got whatever we have to do,
The trials.
trials,
Yeah.
thank you. And then you just take off. And then you go and sleep in this beautiful, nice, little
Oh.
comfy, air-conditioned area.
How do you know
Yeah.
where I sleep, Bill?
Actually, I've been told. A lot of people have told me over
There's
there.
a little hint of resentment in
There
your
is.
tone. I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest with you.
And I was going to
Remember
make
the life
all
we lead over
I was
there.
going to make all this money, and after about day 15, you kicked me out. So get stuff. No, it's a
Australia.
bit later than normal this time.
It is, yeah. Well, we're normally in January, and we
Yes.
know when the school holidays come on, it's jungle time.
That's right.
And here we are hurtling towards the Easter.
And the good thing is, it's in South Africa.
Oh, mate, it's going to be
good
heaps
fun there.
cooler.
Yeah.
Locals still talk about you,
temperature-wise,
Bill.
They do.
Still talk about you.
Who was that local that you pinched from somewhere and he used to play? He come in and set up things, but also he was on
Ray.
TV. Yeah.
Was it Ray who was he was
It was and then we didn't like him, and then you like him. It's funny because we all talk about you guys and backstab you. You know. all
oh
that.
yeah, you got it.
You know, what you don't realise is that we have a 24-hour feed. So anytime you think you're having a behind-the-scenes conversation about us, we're usually getting tapped on the shoulder going, hey, they're talking about you right
Yeah.
now. They clip it up and send it to us. So we, like you, we hold on to the grudges as well. Bill.
So South Africa in the same spot as it always is, because you got to
Yes.
catch. What's the little town
Hootspruit?
Little
Hootspruit. It's got a
yeah.
KFC.
Well, it's part of the Drakensberg Mountains,
That's
which
it.
kind of really separate Zimbabwe from South Africa. So just up and over and through the Kruger is the state line.
Funny you mentioned the KFC, Bill.
Yeah.
Because it is a renowned
And a bucket
KFC in
of.
the
I'd
area.
say the
It
mountain
is.
range is better than the KFC.
No, the KFC's a lot better.
This is one of the best KFCs
okay.
in the
Oh,
world.
yeah, the
And-
trans fats are everything.
but you-
Not in Australia, but yes, elsewhere in the world.
Yes.
a reliable sponsor of the show. But the great thing about the KFC there is that
Me being worried about the sponsor.
the great thing about that KFC is you learn very quickly about where and when you eat your KFC.
Oh, yeah.
Because the baboons, which you become very familiar with when you're in the jungle, they're always above you, trying to wee onto your beds.
And
normally.
they throw fruit onto
Yes.
you.
Or if you're lucky, it's fruit.
Yeah, or poo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
Oh.
But they're drawn to the smell of KFC and they love it. They adore
Yes.
it. And we had an awkward situation where some of the crew were at my house filming.
In my house.
Filming, yeah, it's a house with a roof, unlike
Yeah.
where you were staying. And the baboons are so drawn by the smell of KFC. Once I left for the weekend, they broke into my house trying to find the KFC, and for 2 days trashed my entire house. And I'm just not just saying like just made a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
They pulled all the food out of the cupboards, threw it across the room. They pooed on my bed.
Oh,
and
that was
them
smeared it
or-
around the
That
house.
That was Julia.
It was also the same weekend you were evicted from the jungle, Billy.
Yeah, hang on.
I've never been convinced it wasn't you
There's
at the
something
heart of it as well.
happening.
They're naughty, those baboons.
They are.
Because they like the girls.
Oh, the ladies.
They like that. They know when there's a lady down bathing down in the water on their own.
And they go for a bit of a pervy canurvy.
Exactly right.
Do they?
Me and the baboons. No. Right, now tell us, can you give anything away at all? Who's going to be on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here for the season 9?
Well, who do you reckon the footy player is?
Well, is it a Brownlow medalist?
It is.
That's the rumour.
Yes. Yeah, it's a rumour. So Akka or Ben Cousins would be a good.
Benny
That'd be a good
Cousins
one.
would be great.
Yeah.
Akka would always be amazing. But
Yeah.
how is he going to get his dye cap? Does he still have the sexy
no,
blonde hair?
he's gone back
He
to
wears
the
a
Or
hat.
has he gone back to au naturel?
all natural, like you. actually.
Oh, yeah. So the original and the best.
Exactly. What else we got? You got to have a celebrity chef always. How's Miguel going? This French-speaking Spanishman.
You are a man of the world,
Spaniard.
Billy. Miguel is our famous French chef. It's just,
One of the great blokes.
He talks about you so fondly, Billy. I think he may have some depth of feeling towards you, which is nice.
It is a pretty profound experience in there, though, isn't it? Like you do make friends.
Yes,
On
very
a-
tight.
Yeah, right.
It's like boarding school.
Yes.
You know, and I went to boarding school for 3 years, and you won't see someone for 5 years, and they
Yeah.
walk, hey, Knackers, there way, let's have a frothy and all that.
It's a shared trauma.
Exactly.
Were you
Yeah.
eliminated from boarding school as well, Bill?
No, I did HSC for 1982, 1983, and 1984.
Nice. It's just good to reminisce.
It is, isn't
I
it?
only did it in 85.
Who else we got some superstars. A Logie-winning legend.
Ooh.
Georgie Parker, someone's wrote here.
Oh, could it be Georgie?
I'll listen to you too.
I like a UK star that's sure to bring the drama to the jungle because I love Geordie Shore. I've watched
Yes.
every season.
On
And
Charlotte.
if someone from Geordie Shore's on there again, I'm very excited.
Always
See, and-
amazing.
And the shore, it might be spelt a little bit different.
It
How
is,
It should
yes.
be spelled, right?
Shore.
Correct.
So we picked that up. Charlotte was magnificent.
Charlotte was spectacular.
And Vicky.
Yep.
Vicky
Yeah,
Pattinson's
and
been-
both of those girls were very aware of how to create television, which I
Yes.
thought was really special.
They knew exactly what they were doing.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
it wasn't just about being on camera; it was about creating moments, and they were brilliant to watch, weren't they? They would something would happen in the camp, they'd go directly to the Tok-Toki and speak about it there. Then they'd come back and generate more conversation about it, and that's the way conversations make it to the air. So they're savvy, those kids. A lot of the reality television stars.
Yes.
Are super savvy with how to keep a conversation on track and make it into a bigger story. It's fascinating to watch.
Feels like they're hosting the show sometimes, to be honest.
No, I know.
You
I
just-
would
you
barely
just-
turn
you're
up
just
half the
puppets
time.
in their little game. They know how to get the airtime.
Whereas
we're
Bill
like
did-
a salt and pepper shaker. We're like a couple of featured extras up the back.
Good ones.
You did TV for 25 years. Did Bill know how to do that as well?
I wasn't savvy.
But we don't create television like that.
No, we don't.
We turn up and we're the guests.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we thought.
Yeah.
I thought. And then you got these young ones running around and looking, know when to act surprised.
All of it.
Bill, let's not talk down your contribution.
No, I'm talking
your
it down.
Your joke book, your jokes.
Oh,
I thought
Were you in with the,
the ones we could
our,
air, the ones we could put to air, I thought were supreme. I think there was one. We could.
Miguel, he used to say the worst ones every time.
Now that for a show.
Good show, Jim.
Monday show. Damo, of course, flying. Topics Brownless. I don't ever understand why. And then Chris Brown, of course, and Julia Morris, your mates.
Yes, exactly, that you couldn't make it for.
Oh, car broke down.
So how are you here now then?
Well, because I turned it around. I'm a miracle worker. Now, Fat,
Yeah.
the jokes on Monday are not always great.
True.
So turn it around with a good one today.
No.
Right.
End the day with a laugh.
I have a joke.
This is Billy's joke.
Here we go.
Sorry to our sponsors.
None for the joke.
For good reason.
I've offered my elderly neighbour, Jim, $20 to let me try out her stair lift.
Right.
I think she's going to take me up on it. Jim?
Oh, look at Hose. Like, just look through the glass.
Yeah, but
Hose is just shaking it. Yeah, but Wit is no audience. Wit laughs. Like those stupid ones you get out of a hat on Christmas Day,
Yeah.
Wit giggles
Yeah,
at.
she
She's
does.
just one of those people that permanently laughs. Fat. You know how bad that was, don't you?
Mm-hmm. I don't even like it.
Come on. That's just a throwaway.